if you immediately go to Thane, Thane is going to say, I need some time to, what was the word I used? I need some time to think things through.
Okay.
Sorry, I need some space to think things through.
Yeah, I think Dilue would show up probably like 10, 15 minutes later. After he had walked away initially. And I think if he said he needed space at that point, she would just be like, "Oh, okay. Do you want me to swing back later?"
He'd say about like 10 minutes more.
Okay.
At that point, you'd be like, I've been thinking about some things. I need a little more time.
Okay. Dilue wanders around on the ship a little bit, bothers the crew. If they are on the boat for some reason, I guess nobody needs to be on the boat at this point. Dilue wanders around the empty boat alone. Did he, would she have found him in the captain's cabin?
Jeez.
I was just thinking, because if Dilue is sleeping there, then that would be their shared quarters still. Unless Thane wanted to move, but in which case Dilue would have also moved.
He would be down below in the where we kept our like provisions and stuff. Which, if this, again, this is a weird thing to say. This is where you would have seen him come up from before when you teleported back in.
Okay. Thane's hidey hole. I mean, Captain Redfang's hidey hole. Okay. Yeah, she would just tool around for some amount of time. Approximately 10 minutes. I don't know how people tell time in places without smartphones, so
Sundials.
yeah, she would go check the sundial and return after 10 minutes time. So he's at this point down with the provisions in the
Sure,
in the cargo hold.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna turn off my camera so I don't distract.
Oh man, I was using AJ as my anchor. Ship pun intended. Okay.
I guess more like jail cells, but I'm sure there's stuff down there.
Whoa, wait, what?
I'm pretty sure the Forge Bunny was fitted out as with more space for like captives and violence than
It has a break, yeah.
like cargo. Yeah. But yeah, Dyla would sort of awkwardly knock on the wall as she's coming down, like, you ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. She comes down and is he still Red Fang?
Yes.
Okay. She's sort of like, all right. And just pulls up a seat on a crate or something and is like, hey.
Hi.
Is this about the ring conversation?
Paul's thinking. Ring conversation.
Like the conversation about what to do with the ring and who got to carry it and
Oh, nope. First of all, I'm not sure what exactly you mean by this, and second of all, no, I think that went well. Well, not well. Well's not the right word.
You can say, well, maybe not exactly. Yeah. What I mean by this is the part where I walked into Vane having a panic attack and you continuing whatever it was you were doing for reasons honestly unclear to me.
Tyler, do you remember when I used to change my face every day?
Yeah.
And there was no problem with that?
Well, yes.
What the hell happened?
I mean, I'm gonna return to the part where Vane was having a mental breakdown of sorts. Not because of not trusting you. He didn't think it was you.
I don't see why not. Everyone,
Yeah.
including Orin, was telling him it was.
Yeah, he was not in much of a condition to listen to that.
What's interesting to me is, as I mentioned before I stormed off, no one seems to care about other people that we already have met. That they have already met. No, that we have already met. Sharwin, Bradford. We're just like, oh yeah, it's you. Any one of them could be Echo. I think I made it pretty clear. I don't feel like I need to restate my point.
I agree, but are you? What are you proposing?
I don't think I'm proposing anything. I'm saying, why is it that you were saying you think Vane does trust me? Why, when I say it's me, or not? Sorry, I didn't say that. Why, when I show up, does he?
Continue lying.
Does this happen? But Sharwin and Bradford and stuff, they're fine.
Well, I would say that the fact that they were all here, the fact that they were more or less where we'd expect them to be, and the fact that we know them made it feel a little safer, at least to me.
All of that is the exact reason why we should be concerned in my mind. We know them. They're approximately where we think they should be. But we also haven't that tied with the fact that we haven't seen them in, I don't know how long it's been, 6 months, whatever.
I mean, fair enough.
If I were trying to infiltrate a group, that's how I would do it.
Fair enough.
And no one knows infiltration better than I do.
Also fair enough. But that's why I'm saying, are you proposing that we, before we embark on the war, make a careful circuit, cast detect thoughts, and grill everyone again? What do you want us to do about it? Because you ain't wrong. This could all be an elaborate ruse, and that would be quite unfortunate. But if that is the case, I think we should do something about it. You know?
I don't know what we can do, because even I didn't recognize Echo, didn't notice Echo.
Well,
Nor did Vane when she was among us.
fair. I mean, you hadn't recognized Vuero, or you hadn't met Vuero before, so to be fair, you didn't have a basis of comparison. But also,
Out of character, didn't Vane meet Vuero before that? When
Thane,
Paul was sick?
yeah, Thane didn't. That's what it's saying.
Oh,
Thane,
okay, sorry.
Thane wouldn't, but
Gotcha.
Vane, yeah. I was saying also, in fairness, Vane didn't like her very much, and I think wasn't inclined to pay much attention to the nuances. There were signs in retrospect that we should have been attuned to, and we weren't, because it hadn't happened before. You're right. We should be on high alert. But I do think there are things we can do. We can ask ourselves, are any of these people not acting the way they oughta? I can go around and do my absolute best to check all of them out, and Orin could do the same. We could ask Dawn, Sharwin, some of the others if they'd be willing to let me do, a full-on deep dive into their heads and root around in there. I never tried reading Blero. It wasn't on my mind. It wasn't on any of our minds.
It's possible some of those things would work. But I don't really have the answer here.
I guess I'm not sure what the question is.
That's
Then
the way I feel.
why, Thane? What was this supposed to do?
The one thing I feel that is protecting me from Echo is changing my faces. I was not able to change that for quite some time on that ship. Now that I can, I took the opportunity.
Okay. Well,
And I can't go around telling people, hey, I'm Thane, because that directly defeats the purpose of that. But
I hear you.
I tried my best with Vane. Short of actually saying that.
Well, it's sticky, isn't it?
That it is.
Okay. Okay. I see what you were trying to do. But I also know exactly why Fane couldn't hear what you were saying. Have he ever told you what happened to him when he was dead?
Paul doesn't remember. I think he did. AJ, do you know?
My recollection is that the ones I specifically remember are telling Dilue and Orin. And then Dilue told Vane to go talk to Thane. I don't specifically recall if in that Ship Rocks the Storm conversation, if that included talking about what happened to him when he died,
Okay.
or if that was left out of the Frost Dagger stuff. But if
Gotcha.
Thane ever asked, he would have told Thane.
I'm gonna go with no, he didn't.
Seems legit. Um, I don't know how much of this is mine to say, but he told me about it once. She had him in the Feywild, and she tortured him for about a week straight, something like that, physically, psychologically.
That sounds like Echo.
She fucked him up pretty bad. And the only time I've seen him like he was today is when he saw her. The only time I've seen him react like that ever to anything is when Echo was standing in front of him. He wasn't seeing you at all. He was seeing her. And he was scared out of his mind, Thane. He's really, really scared that he ain't gonna make it to find his brother in Fox. So it's not a lack of trust in you. It's that you sounds like you tripped over something that you didn't mean to trip on.
I think I've got a thing. Give me a second.
Thane suddenly changes faces again. How about this one?
Shoot, no. I don't know how Thane would take this. Actually, no. Yeah, that might be a perfect segue. Okay. Thane would contemplate that for a little bit, and he would say, if that's the case, Thane might have just a... If that's going to be the case, Thane and I might not be able to reconcile this moving forward. And I gotta tell you, Dilue, I've been thinking, maybe this group isn't for us anyway.
Firstly,
He'd interrupt, like,
it's like,
no, I interrupt the interrupt. Counter the counter spell. Dilue, I mean, take a good hard look. What have we accomplished since joining the Frost? We've released a soul-hungry weapon from its tomb. We've killed a god and brought on an eternal death storm. We've released who know what epic is in the Shadowfell, which was a problem they created, by the way. Now we're cleaning up their mess from before. He's talking about Alpin. And all the while, Echo grows stronger. Not to mention, you just got sent to another freaking plane of existence, and we had no idea how to get you back. Dilue, I think we've joined the wrong team.
first of all, me getting sent to another dimension was really no one's fault but mine thing. I've thought about that a lot. That day feels like a nightmare now. I remember getting up on that ship and running at the first thing I saw. And you had the sense to back off, and I didn't. It's probably for the best that I did, in that Orin would probably be dead if I hadn't. But also, if he hadn't been pulled in with me, I would probably be dead, and I would have had no way back at all.
Dilue, if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't be there.
Wouldn't I? San could have taken me with him. With or without Orin.
Actually, I'm sorry. Quick, maybe small retcon. He would have said, if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have been there.
How do you mean?
I mean, first of all, as I just mentioned, all these things have kind of happened since we've joined them. But let's say we did join them, and, just for a bit. Remember when I wanted us to leave on Dragon Island? Or when I wanted us to leave with the refugees? You wouldn't have been anywhere near there.
Sure, but also Makuna would be gone.
It's possible.
Yeah, it is. I would think that would be sort of a problem if Makuna were gone. With all of the people who had just been sent back there to die on it. All the regular old citizens of the fleet who would have been sent to that continent to get killed by the ritual as soon as it went off. We saved countless people's lives by going with them, Thane.
I think that is... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And it would not have happened if we had not been there. Think if the Forge Bunny had just destroyed Fox and his crew and then gone on to attack G right after. If it had been just the four of our friends alone in that situation, if we hadn't been there to get in front of Morinto on that last attack, if we hadn't kept the rest of the ships in the fight long enough, do you think Morinto would have made it to the Dizzy Mother? Because I don't.
I think it's possible, but I think you're correct. I don't think that they would have. It is possible, But that's the one good deed we did. One good deed does not excuse several bad ones.
That's fair, I suppose. But I'll be honest with you, Thane, I don't know how much of this we can lay strictly at the feet of only the other folks in the group. I mean, if it was you and me alone, would we have saved Sussex? If it had just been just you and me, without the Frost, Vinaya not there to do whatever the hell she did to figure out where those orbs were, would we have found it out in time? We had minutes left to stop that from happening.
Again, I think it's possible, but I don't know for a fact. There's no way to know.
That's what I'm saying.
And obviously we did it with them.
Thane, I think we would have died there. And I think if we had lived, if we had stopped, if we had, by just the two of us, saved Sussex and fought Elthan, I think we probably would have ended up back in that same Dagger safe house. And probably we still would have been sent to Death Mountain, just the two of us. And I don't know whether we would have made it out of that alive. If we did, we would have had to have picked up Black Razor on the way out to get out. And we probably still would have unleashed Black Razor on the world. And if one of us had been wielding Black Razor, just the two of us, with that sword, and it took over one of us, Vinaya almost killed me with that thing, if you remember. Vinaya almost killed me with Black Razor when there were 4 people holding her back, aside from me. I don't know if it had taken over one of us, that I wouldn't have killed you or you wouldn't have killed me.
Dilute, nothing will. Sorry, no weapon can make me kill you. And he looks at Trespasser.
Well,
Betray, you would say.
Well, I mean, I'd like to believe that, but you and I both had that thing take us over. Both of us, different times. I mean, that sword made you turn on a whole marketplace full of innocent people. It made me scratch my nails off trying to claw my way into a box of cement. It's a hell of a thing. Only reason I can even consider using it now is because it would be one of us versus 5 of us if things went wrong. I don't agree that they've just been dragging us down this whole time. And as much as I regret sincerely a number of the things that we have done together, Black Razor, Echo, Epic, the works, I don't know how things would be if we'd done differently. We wouldn't even know Echo was out there. We wouldn't know she was the big head honcho of the bad guys.
And we also wouldn't have fallen into their plan to kill gods.
True.
Sorry, kill a god.
True. But as awful as that is, maybe she would have gotten away with all of this. And she would have tried again some other time. As long as we know that she's out there, maybe we have a chance to stop her.
And that's, again, a small good thing in the sea of bad. Dilue, they don't trust us. At every turn, they don't trust us. They haven't trusted us for some time. In fact, I would say maybe even since we've joined the group. It's always been us versus them. Always. And I want to get the job done. I want to fight Elfin, but not for them. My thought is, we join back up with the daggers. We join this war, but we're not fighting for them.
Well, I've never been fighting for them. I've been fighting with them.
Well, fine. We'd be fighting with them, but from further away.
She kind of snorts and says, look, that is why I asked if this was all about the ring talk. Because...
Go ahead.
Because, yeah, that pissed me off. I don't know if it pissed you off. Pissed me off.
I was upset, but I would not say this was all about that. That is just enough. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. This has been going on since we've met them.
And yet, as you pointed out, you've been changing your face since the beginning, and no one ever had a problem with it before. They've turned their backs on us plenty of times. Look, I do think there is an undercurrent. There is something I can't altogether put my finger on, but between us and the others, that is. But I don't know if it's that they don't trust us exactly. It's hard, Thane. It's hard to go from being two against the world in a totally different situation where we thought we were fighting a completely different war to fighting this one. And I don't just mean this one here now, but this whole one against Echo and magic bullshit and all of that. It's hard to go from what we were before to this. Part of a team that works differently, that it's full of a bunch of people who are kind of as messed up as we are, if you'll pardon me saying. And she smiles genuinely fondly at him as she says that.
He does not. I'm sorry. Paul does.
That's fair. It's hard, but I think it is worth it. And I think there are ways we've held out on them a lot. There are ways we ain't adapted very well to that. And there are ways they ain't adapted to us at all. See, my ongoing small personal war that I'm currently having with Orin Ironhelm, glaring at the floor. But you know what? Earlier today, he did look at me as if I was maybe not his least favorite person in the world for the first time in a while. So miracles can happen, Thane. I don't know what to tell you.
He would smile at that one, but then he would say like he'd kind of smile a little bit and then go back to straight face and go that just shows the problem. Like you're ecstatic that this one time he maybe didn't look at you with
Oh,
whatever.
I would not use the word ecstatic. I'm still gonna strangle him, Thane, one of these moments. Or maybe I will scream at him. She kind of pauses and taps her foot on the floor. It's like, and maybe I should scream at him. You know? Maybe I should have screamed at him and Vane yesterday when they suggested that I might misuse a smokework relic. Because maybe if I had, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying, Thane, is you jump straight from Vane didn't get what I was up to this morning to I guess me and Vane will never work together.
I didn't say never. I said perhaps it's best if we go our own ways.
Okay, but do you think there might be some intermediate steps before you determine that one? Because I feel like before I have you literally ever sat down and been like, under these circumstances, I will debut a new face, and if you need to know it's me, just look over at Dilue first before you freak out. Because I think that's been the assumption. But
I feel like that almost defeats the purpose.
well, but okay. Point of order. You want us to be on the lookout for Echo, correct? You want us to be worried about that.
I said that I want us to be worried about that, but I'm not sure how we can.
Uh-huh.
Whether or not I'm changing my faces.
Correct. But in general, you would want us to exercise caution in terms of watching out for Echo.
Sure. But that doesn't mean that we just can't trust anyone that we see ever. I know. I'm saying this is a very difficult thing. And I'm saying not even I could solve it. In terms of seeing Echo, like seeing someone as
It's cackling. Dilute does laugh. not hostilely, just
yeah.
Like, yeah, it sounds challenging. I don't immediately, in 5 minutes, have the answer either. But I think as challenges go, we've faced more insurmountable ones. I mean, Thane, we slew 2 dragons as a group. I think we could maybe, if we put our heads together, think of a way to check for Echo better than we have. Oren was talking about us teaching them thieves' camp, which I don't think that would work, but there's something to the idea of having codes we could pass between each other. Just something, because, you know, I always know it's you, but maybe there will come a day when Echo follows you around and figures it out well enough to trick me. Maybe she follows me around and she figures out how to look like me. There's always a danger of that, and I do think we need to be aware of it, but I think there's got to be some kind of balance in there.
Well, she won't follow me around and become me. She doesn't know who me is. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's fair, but I mean, it depends on how exactly she's following us around. We still don't know. Because Thane, everybody else there knew it was you. If she's riding on one of our shoulders, if she's got a way of watching us somehow we don't know about, she knows who you are all the time. We don't know how she infiltrated Buero's ship, or if she did, if she was in our ship the entire time. We don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't think we should depend on anything.
Sorry, and yeah, that goes back to what I said earlier, which was we don't know, and that's why this is my best defense.
I agree. And I think that as long as it is your best defense, there is some way to communicate that to Vane that, you know, even in the depths of panicking about it, he looked at me when I turned up. You know? He was mostly out of his mind, but when I turned up, he looked at me like, is that Echo or is that my friend Thane? As a new person that I haven't seen before. My point is, I don't think this is an insurmountable hurdle. A secret nod between me and Thane. Something. I think it's doable.
You say it's not an insurmountable hurdle. I think this is a big, again, another big reason why I should, at least why we should not be a part of their group. Because I am going to keep changing my faces. That is not something that's going to change.
I'm saying that's fine.
And we can stay aligned with the goals that we have of helping people and even killing Alphen by joining the fight with the daggers, the other Frost Daggers.
It is a little confusing in it that they sort of took our name.
Yeah, I'd call them the others, but that was us, so that's also confusing. So yeah.
I mean, Thane. I'll grant you that the fuck ups have been bigger and a lot more dramatic since we became part of this team. But I would argue that part of that is because we have been dealing with things that are bigger and more dramatic than they ever were before. And we have also accomplished things that the two of us alone could not have back in Sussex.
We weren't alone. We had the daggers.
We did, but none of the daggers are on the level of, of anyone in our group. I mean,
that's not true.
Could any of them have single-handedly sunk a galley and lived?
Probably. I don't actually know. Paul
I was kind of like, I don't think so, buddy.
I actually bet that they could, but that's okay.
Alone? Because I couldn't.
They have mages on their team.
Yeah. They're like Orin mages.
I mean, they don't have wave, but they've got mage. Fireball sinks ships all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And as do loose lips, which is why I'm so good at fighting ships.
Wait, wouldn't that make you real bad at fighting ships?
No, I sink ships. Anyway,
but you've got the tight. You've got the tight lips, though. You.
Oh, gotcha.
Now I'm good at sinking ships. Now, Dilue just kind of shakes her head and is like, my point is, Thane, I know it's been 6 months, and I know they've been extraordinarily weird hard months, but I don't actually think that any of us have tried that hard to be a team up till now. I don't think we've tried to get past this stuff.
I feel like we very much did at the beginning, and they were having none of it.
I'm trying to remember what Paul or what Thane is referring to here in terms of like very beginning. I feel like Diley would remember.
Specifically, like White Plume Mountain, I feel like yes, there was still a like Thane and Dilue Thieves Camp thing, but we all worked towards the same goal, that sort of thing.
Gotcha. I was thinking of like things they did to us in the beginning to make us not a team. But what you said makes sense. She goes like, I mean, sort of, but we hadn't really learned any of the messier aspects of each other yet. And now we have. I mean, I ain't putting this all on you, Thane. I've spent the last 45 days not speaking to Orin.
Not speaking to Orin?
Not speaking to Orin. I mean, barely enough, just enough to get the job done and occasionally piss him off. And I meant to when we got back. But I was pissed off and I was scared that he didn't want to hear it. So I didn't try. I think we should try.
I think I'm done trying, Dilue.
Thane, I'm going to say this with love, and I hope you can take this in the spirit it is intended. I don't think you've tried a whole lot up to this point. They name 5 things you've ever told them about you. name
Paul thinks things that Thane would say. How do I word this?
I love lying.
No. This isn't lying. No. I'm trying to think of how to word it. I know how to say it mechanically.
No, I was just saying that would be a great first one.
Oh yeah. That I changed my faces. That wasn't
Yeah.
what I was thinking of. There you go.
That I won't tell them anything else.
That I know. God dang it. I'm just gonna say it mechanically. That I know how to operate a boat.
That was a lie, so I'm not going to count that one.
We'll call it half a one.
It was a complete and utter bald-faced lie, and you know it.
Actually, I need to get out. Hang on one sec.
I need to get out. Thane runs from the room.
I need to leave.
I love to think that none of this is Paul humming and hawing about it, but it's all Thane
Oh,
just...
please.
They're just being like,
I've got... Hold on.
That trespasser talks to me.
Okay, well, now I'm gonna file that again in the category of lied about it until specifically called out by someone who could tell you were lying about it. And again, I lied about both of these things also. I also lied to our friends. I'm not putting this all on you.
And I'm really good at stealthing. Does that count?
I think they could probably tell just by looking at you.
No, they couldn't. They couldn't see.
I'll give you that one. But I need you to know that it is conditional like conditional as in I am taking pity on you because so far this is a pathetic list. Oh, you're
Oh,
silent.
yeah, yep,
Oh.
nope, that was me. That I know how to navigate, which you weren't there for, but I told them.
Okay. Did you tell them like why, like where you learned it, or
I
what
gave them
it
a
meant?
very detailed history of how I.
What it meant to you? Like,
And something else.
oh, okay, good list. Do you see my point? Maybe a
No,
little.
I got to 4.
Uh-huh. What was the determination? What was the goal? What was the goalpost for this one?
It was okay. Hang on, 1 second. 5. I can think of another.
Uh-huh.
That I lose my friend.
Oh, that's so sweet.
There you go.
Also, I'm gonna tell you again, you two of those you lied about, so I'm not gonna
Counted
count
them
them.
as half. It was fine. I got to 5.
Uh-huh.
You even set the bar pretty high.
No, I really didn't. If I set the bar high, we would have to take most of those off the list and try again next time. Frankly, again, I think we talked about this before. I don't even know why we lied to them about you knowing how to sail ships, you know?
It was the principal, Dilue.
I mean, yes, and it was funny. It's still kind of funny.
Plus, it worked out, didn't it?
It did.
Now,
But
if
if
only
I
they would. Now, if only they would trust me more.
weird. It's weird, maybe, that they have some reservations. Look, Thane, I would trust you to the ends of the earth. But it does help some that the day we met, you saved me from a group of jerks with swords and then sort of transformed my life. And then, told me about your life, and I told you about my life. And, you know, we got drinks and, you know, played fun rogue games around the city and climbed up on rooftops and talked and shared stuff. And
Why have you been going? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
uh this is like, you treated me like a friend. And that, first of all, it made me know you well enough that I always know you. I know what you're gonna do. I know that I can trust you. But, I feel like we've often sort of treated them like colleagues at best.
While you're going over that list, Thane's face got really serious, I guess, again.
Of like the things that he and Dilue had.
Yeah. So, you had started of when I first met you. You saved me from a group of people with a bunch of swords. We did
Mhm.
blah 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 blah.
Yep.
Are you done talking? Because then he would say something.
Yep.
Dilue, I would argue that I'm again trying to save you from a group of a bunch of people with swords.
Well, I would, I appreciate it. I would feel like the comparison was a little fairer if we were all in a dark room and they had their swords drawn and were trying to stab me with them. But I understand the parallel you're trying to draw here.
Not all swords are literal, Dilue.
They are to me. She pats Riff Raff. I love me just a good literal sword. My point is, it might help.
Dilue,
We have been holding ourselves away from them as long as they've been holding themselves away from us. I ain't saying they haven't been doing the same thing. I'm just saying what if we all gave it a break?
That's actually what my suggestion is.
Dude, this is
I-
literal.
I
This is literal. That is like,
Dilue, when I met you, you said I treated you like a friend. I would say it was more that I showed you with my actions that you could trust me, which is what I have done with them, and they have not. They've not taken to that.
look, I agree with you that I wish they would hold up, you know, the stuff we have done and weighed that more when they talk to us. But they also like there was that one time that one of them like knifed the others in the back or whatever after traveling with them about as long as we have been.
Paul doesn't know what you're talking about.
Rurik.
Oh yeah, I remember. That was a knife. That was a great sword. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah. Diley doesn't know what it was.
Yeah, I would say they don't have a good track record as a group.
I mean, that seems a little harsh. I don't know if it was their fault he threw the knife in. Maybe it was. I wasn't there.
I hope this doesn't come off as Paul metagaming too much. God. Shoot, I lost it. Something like maybe they rubbed him the wrong way as well, just like they're doing to us.
I mean, yeah, they've rubbed me pretty far the wrong direction. I still have yet to seriously contemplate killing Orin Ironhelm, for example. No reason why I would pull out that one in particular.
I'm not gonna lie, or I'm not gonna lie and say I haven't thought about it.
Oh, I'm not going to lie and say I haven't thought about it. I'm not going to lie and say I haven't thought about it. But I wouldn't actually do it.
Because wave. I mean,
Like just because he's like such an asshole sometimes, specifically recently. But she kind of like draws into herself for a second, like, Orin knows that I worked for Smokework.
I assume Thane would not have known that.
I think we affirmed that he does not. I'm pretty sure. It has never been discussed in character. Yeah.
And I'm sorry. And what does he think of that?
Well, he found it out when he read my mind, and it was in the middle of the whole Black Razor debacle.
Which he shouldn't have done in the first place.
Shouldn't have, but I can't 100% judge people for reading other people's minds. I'm not like a fan of it, but I've done a little bit of it myself. And I read his mind and saw some shit. She's looking like really, but like somehow some mixture of like annoyed because she's speaking positively of Orin, and also kind of sad and sentimental because she's talking about Orin. And is like, well, he sat me down and poured me a drink and let me sort of yell at him a lot for a while about how I was a bad person who should die and stuff. I don't know, just a lot of things I sort of just sat on for a long time. and he wouldn't let me really say that about myself. And I don't know. Don't get me wrong, still fucked up about it. Still don't feel good about it, but he sort of untwisted it in a way that I never had been able to. Like I said, I know it's been hard this last 6 months, but also the least I've ever felt like the world would be a better place if I wasn't in it. So there's that.
Dilue, I promise you that from the whatever 4 days or whatever this world was without you, it was a much worse place.
Thanks. My point is, you and Oren, infuriatingly enough, would agree on that.
He certainly hasn't made that clear to me.
No. Like I said, things didn't go great in the Shadowfell. But I don't know. Him and me should probably talk.
Did you say him and me?
Yeah. Vane too. I don't mean that. I'm afraid that this sounds like I've just been going around telling everybody I used to work for Smokework. I promise it ain't like that. It was just a couple times. I got really mad at Vane because he wouldn't stop talking about how I was a good person and how, I was going to be in his hero stories and stuff. So I was basically like, guess what, Vane? I'm horrible. Here's why. And you know what he said? The fucking asshole that he is. You know what he said to me?
What did he say?
He said that when he was telling stories to his little brother when he was growing up, Lenny's stories, the ones he liked best, were all about the like flawless, legendary, pure-hearted heroes, the Vane Menthaliaris of the world, if you will. But the Vane's favorite stories were the ones about redemption.
Paul's heart just melted, even though I've heard that before. But Vane remains resolute.
Yeah, Tyler was just like, I should have thrown him in the sea right then. And she wipes away a tear.
No.
Point is, I guess, that there are parts of me that are fucking terrible. And that I have always been terrified of other people seeing. And even after all of the shit we've gotten into, every time she's like, Dilue is coming to an uncomfortable revelation as she speaks. Like, every time I've actually opened up to them, they've sort of been really kind about it and made me feel like I still had a place here. So I feel like there's something in there to be taken away about whether or not they trust us, what might be gained from telling them things about ourselves beyond the very superficial and or things that are overt lies that weren't true.
Tyler, I've always told you that you're too hard on yourself about your past. Them being okay with that after seeing the good that you can do, that again, that doesn't excuse the constant distrust I feel while with them.
Look, I ain't telling you not to feel that. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm saying I think you hold yourself away from them. I think you always have.
That's who I am.
Well, it ain't when you're with me, is it?
You're the one exception, Dilute, in this whole world.
Well, how come I'm the one exception in this whole world?
He kind of like looks at the floor. Because I really like you, Dilute.
Well, I really like you too, Thane. But I want other people to really like you too, and I think they would. If you didn't stay so far away. I mean, I know you to be the funniest, coolest, bravest, best person I've ever met. And yes, you showed me that with your actions, but you also showed me that by, you know, passing a bottle back and forth with somebody you knew had been a smokework agent a month ago. And, you know, let me drag you around to stupid bars and up on buildings and stuff and looking at the stars, and I miss that. I miss doing all that stuff a whole hell of a lot.
Mr. Whiskers does have a good time. He does smile at that one.
Mr. Whiskers, hell of a party animal, if you will.
He gives you like a grin and a look at that.
My point is, as heroic and dashing and brave as your good deeds themselves are, they aren't all of you. They aren't the only things to know about you. They sort of contextualize you in a nice way. You know? Without you, you are Mr. Perfect Agent. And Mr. Perfect Agent is perfectly fine. But it was real nice for me to realize there was, you know, a person underneath that. I ain't sure you ever shown them that side of you in the same way.
I'm not sure what good it would do.
Well,
And I don't think I'm willing to put forth the effort anymore.
or she sort of goes, ever?
I don't understand, he says.
Can we go back to the list?
What list?
The list of things that you had truthfully told them about yourself, of which you could only think of 3, one of which was, I'm good at sneaking. Do you have more in there that you thought of, or are you still confessing that you are stuck at 3?
I got to at least 4, Dilute.
Yeah, and as I'm saying, 2 of them were complete and utter bullshit, and you know it.
Paul legitimately forgets. I think I got to 5.
You did, and 2 of them were complete and utter bullshit. And bald-faced lies that you told them.
We called them halves.
I don't look. I know that you became a good sailor. I don't know, unless you were a time traveler from the future, that it was true at the time. Because you were and are scared to go on the water to get to the boat.
I'm just saying I did fine as a sailing student. Totally fine by myself, learning how to do things. Not by myself. Totally fine learning how to do things.
Yep. And let me just ask you this thing. Is there a reason that, I mean, aside from that it was funny, that you couldn't have just been like, I don't know how to sail a boat. Can you please teach me?
I could have.
But that would have been sort of vulnerable, wouldn't it? That would have been sort of like, oh, I need help from a friend to teach me how to do a thing.
Yeah,
I mean, Thane, if every time you knew how to do a thing and I didn't, I was like, I'm already an expert on that. Screw you. And then I went and learned it from somebody else. Do you think we, you and me, would get a lot closer from that?
Paul lost the thread.
Sorry, I can restate if it's helpful.
Go ahead, try it.
If now I've lost. What did I mean?
It was good. It was good. It was very good.
Thanks.
It was that I was saying
Save me, AJ.
if every time that Dilue wanted to learn something that Thane knew, but Dilue didn't. Dilue said, I'm already an expert, and then ran off to go learn it from someone else, and then came back after having learned it. Would Dilue and Thane get any closer from that?
To that he would say...
There's an implied answer. It's real easy. It's a 2-letter word.
Yeah. No, he would say... No, we wouldn't get closer, but you would have proven to me that you have the capability of... I don't know, that you have the capability of doing things. I don't know how to word that better.
Okay.
Things
Well,
done.
no, Thane, it would not, in fact, have proven that capability to you at all because I would have lied to you about it and said I already knew how to do it.
But if I didn't know you lied to me, which in the sailing case you don't, or they didn't. What I'm trying to say is, if they don't know that I lied to them, then that makes your point moot.
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna dig in my heels on the notion that it probably would have drawn you in a little more and made you feel closer to them than what you did do, which is pretend to be an old man for a week and also disappear as Thane for a week so nobody knew where you were or what you were doing. And say it was secret spy business or whatever, and not I, Thane, have caught myself in my own lie and I need to go hide for a week straight and pretend I'm doing secret spy business. Do you see? This is like what I'm saying, Thane, is this is the most elaborate excuse to not be close to someone I have ever heard. You could not have tried harder to not have this opportunity to grow closer to them work out.
Thane chuckles and says, all right, I'll give you that one, Dilue.
Thank you. I felt like it was a good point. And on that good note, I have to grab my cat really quick. So stew on that one.
Well,